Okay, let's have a look at skills. So skills are split into three categories. You've got your primary skills here, mostly used for non-combat. Your vehicle system skills, used for spacecraft, particularly spacecraft combat. And your personal combat skills, like small arms for like shooting guns and throwing grenades and stealth and things like that. By default, when you create a character, you are trained in 6 of these skills, 2 of these, and 2 of these. You gain a +1 bonus to any skill that you're trained in. If you're untrained in a skill, you have a -2 penalty for that skill. Also, if you're trained in a skill, you may select a single trait for that skill. If it's one of these, and if it's one of these combat skills, you can select 2 traits, up to 2 traits per skill. This section here is a place for you to keep track of what tools you have, like toolkits, toolboxes, workshops, and the things like that. So let's just jump right into how you actually make a skill roll. So at its essence, the skill rolls are fairly familiar and very easy. It's rolling 3d6 plus any bonuses you have to the roll, or minus any penalties, and trying to get at least a certain score. High is always better. A moderately difficult task is a roll of a 12 or a 14. You're always trying to roll higher. But let's walk through this, how it works. So to start off with, the GM sets the scene and the problem, so they should describe the current situation, possibly making any skill choice suggestions. An example is you want to get through a door. The door is locked. You could use programming to hack it, electronics to hotwire it, or mechanics to pull it apart at the hydraulics. The second thing is the players explain their approach and choose a skill. So each player describes what they're going to do and selects what skill they're going to use. And a different skill will have a different result. If you pull that door apart using mechanics, then it's broken and it's not going to fix. Whereas if you hack it, you might be able to lock it straight away afterwards. Based off the player's approach, the GM may specify if any tools are required. And this is a really important point. You can use tools from your environment, but having the available tools will make a big difference, because some things just requires tools. But you can't get around it. If you're going to pull that door apart from its hinges, then you need the tools to be able to pull the paneling off. If you're going to hack it, then you're going to need a computer yourself to be able to attach to it. So that's really important. The next thing here is the GM awards a description bonus or penalty. So if a player describes what they're doing particularly well in a creative way, and also plays to their strengths, then the GM should give them a +2 bonus to their roll. Now, attributes here don't directly relate to skill rolls, but players should play to their strong attributes. So if they're a really strong character and they describe themselves forcing something using their strength, then that's playing to one of their attribute strengths. Let's say the character is really fast and nimble. If they use that as part of the description of what they're using, then that's playing to that strength. But if you have, for example, a low strength attribute score, sorry, I'm using the word strength far too much, and you try to physically force open something, then you should get a minus penalty to that. But don't forget, players have got to combine playing to their attribute strengths and along with giving a good description. Then players roll 3d6. So say they rolled that, they add the bonus up. If they meet the required amount, then they have succeeded. If they meet it by a lot, then maybe it might have some additional bonus effects. Also keep note of any 6s that you rolled. 6s are called strong hits, and they can be used to do special things. So the default strong hit option that everybody has access to is efficient. And this allows you to spend that 6 to re-roll one of your other dice. like that. And you have to keep the second result. As you select more traits, this will give you more strong hit options. An example is if you select the psychic trait Mindworm, you can spend your 6 to read people's surface thoughts when you're making a conversation or psychology roll with somebody. So rather than spending that 6 on efficient and re-rolling one of the other dice, you can spend that 6 on reading their surface thoughts. And the more traits that you select, then that will give you more options. So you're always kind of looking for that 6. The last stage is the GM describes the result. And this will be greatly based on what skill you choose, your approach, and what tools you have. It's not always a simple case of rolling higher, because a different skill is going to have a different result, like what we were describing with the door, whether you hack it, hotwire it, or pull it apart. Now, the reason that I've done skills like this is for a few reasons. First, I want skill rolls to be familiar. I don't want lots of heavy rules to weigh down, particularly non-combat, because I want it to be just fluid, familiar, and comfortable for people. But I also want to add a little bit of detail in there, and that's particularly why I've got tools and workshops in there, because it really helps it lend itself to the sci-fi post-apocalyptic feel of the setting, and that you need equipment to be able to do things. The third one is why I've got 6s in there, because 6s that for the strong hits give that element of a little bit of excitement, a little bit of the unknown, and you'll find that when you're a GM and you've got players, they'll lean over the table and see where they got that 6, because yes, they may pass or fail the skill, but they want to do that extra little thing that they were hoping to do, and it's not always reliable.